Welcome to a brand new episode of Breakaway Coverage. I'm your host, Jean-Carlo Nadeau. Absolutely delighted to be joined by Chanreet Bassi, recently drafted by PWHL Vancouver, round 6, pick 48. She's the first UBC player to be drafted into the PWHL, the sixth U Sports drafted player, but the only one from this year. Chanreet, thanks so much for doing this. How's everything going?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me. Excited.
It's a pleasure. So excited myself to be talking to you right now. I know must be talking to a lot of people, especially after getting the news that you were drafted. So take me back to the draft day. How much was your phone buzzing when they found out you were picked?
Yeah, it was pretty special day for sure. I think I wasn't on draft day, you can't really control whatever goes on, so I was just kind of doing my own thing. I didn't go to the draft, so I just stayed at home. And yeah, when I heard my name called, I was pretty ecstatic and just like tears of joy. But yeah, my phone just absolutely blew up. My friends, my family, which is special because those are the people that got you to where you are.
It's so exciting to hear that. What was it like before the draft? Did you have a dream about it the night before? Did you wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm getting drafted today? Like, what was that kind of like?
Honestly, I was just trying to stay in the moment. I wasn't thinking too much about it, which sounds like a little cliche, but just even weeks leading up to it, just I was just like mentally preparing myself. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's okay. It'll all work out. So that was just kind of my mentality. And yeah, I think you don't want to be too high or too low, especially during a draft because you never know what will happen.
Yeah, you never know what could happen. You literally, if you weren't picked, you weren't picked. And I guess you were ready to come to terms with that. But at the same time, if you are picked, you don't know who's picking you. So how exciting is it to be your hometown team that decides to choose you?
I'm super excited. Like that is a dream come true, and it's kind of something we never really got to dream of, but like once the team got announced a few months ago, that was the goal, right? You'd play for any team in the league, obviously, but for it to be Vancouver, it's like unbelievable, and I love the city.
You're a big part of the city. You've accomplished a lot during your time at UBC. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But I know you were at that game in Vancouver. At least your team was with your head coach, Graham Thomas. What was that experience like being able to head out to Rogers Arena and see the whole city rally behind the women's hockey?
That was unbelievable. I think that game set a record of some sort, because it had more people than a Canucks game that year. It was unbelievable because we go out to the Canucks game sometimes and see that, and never in a million years could I ever imagine that many people pack it for a women's hockey game, and it was unreal. I think even one of my friends on Montreal was just like, this was just insane. Like the environment and the kind of buzz around the city during the game was unreal. And we actually got to see one of our former teammates play, like Riley McKinnon. So we were super pumped about that. All the girls showed up and we supported her. So it was super cool and super motivating also because I think at the end of the day, like especially for girls in college, like it's like, wow, you want to play there. That's cool. That's the dream, right? So it kind of just like was a stepping stone to like, wow, this is real. It's here.
Yeah, it was the PWHL Takeover Tour game, Montreal and Toronto. Highest attended Takeover Tour game, and it was absolutely buzzing at Rogers Arena. Let's go back even earlier, though. Tell me about the first time you put on a pair of skates.
Yeah, I think I started playing hockey when I was around 4 or 5. So my brother played, so I just kind of followed suit and just did whatever he did. We didn't have many girls' teams growing up, so I just played boys hockey for most of my life, which was great. So I think each kind of step of the way when I was playing growing up, I was just trying to make each level higher and higher and just kind of compete with my brother, which was nice.
Yeah, this moment obviously happened because you're still doing it to this day. Do you remember the moment when you were like, you know what, this is fun, but I want to take this more seriously?
Honestly, I think from day one, we just took it serious. Like my dad, my brother, and I, we would just be out in the backyard training. Like we were all going to the NHL. It was just, we just loved the game, honestly. And I think it was what kind of brought our family together. And I think that's a special part about hockey because obviously I dreamed I want to go play in the NHL, or we would always watch the WHL team, the Kelowna Rockets. So that was like our NHL too. But at the end of the day, it wasn't too achievable, but we just thought it was back in the day.
I want to talk to you about your family because you mentioned you started playing hockey with your brother, and of course, your dad was a big supporter of you as well. Let's talk about the family.
Yeah, so we grew up, or I grew up in Kelowna, so lived there for about like 10 years, and then we moved out to Lake Country on a farm in around 2014. So been living on a farm for about 10 years now. Yeah, my family, I think super blue collar. We definitely just got put into hockey at a time where hockey is not a cheap sport. So my parents were just working really hard to kind of pay for us, and having like two kids, that's extremely difficult. So um yeah, our family's super close. But yeah, we just kind of just been working hard on the farm and making ends meet when we were younger.
You've already mentioned that you enjoy watching the Vancouver Canucks when you get the chance. Was there a favorite player on that team growing up that you looked up to?
Oh gosh. Obviously like the Sedins, I think Burrows of the Canucks, Kessler, like that kind of 2013 team, like was kind of unbelievable to watch, obviously. I think I was a huge fan of the Kelowna Rockets actually. So they were just like a 5 minute drive away from my house, and they were local. So I went to most of those games. And back when I was watching as a kid, the team actually made it to the Memorial Cup, I think a few times, which was pretty cool, and had like Shea Weber and Tyson Bailey and like all these greats, like Draisaitl played there. So it was pretty cool to watch as well.
It's awesome to watch those players at that level and then to see them kind of take the next steps. And the funny thing about this question is, you know, it's for players like you, who's your favorite NHL player? But in a couple of years, for the next generation, it's who's your favorite PWHL player. So how exciting is it for you to not only be a part of the league, but to see how far it's growing?
Oh, it's extremely motivating, and I'm kind of excited for the next generation because it allows them to kind of dream about something that we never got to, and they get to work for something. They get to work to make a career out of it at the end of the day if they want to. So I think that's really nice.
We've already talked about you, looking for a team to play with or play on, I should say. The fact that there wasn't really a league for you to look up to, players for you to look up to growing up. I'm just kind of curious to know what other challenges you had to face as a female hockey player when you first started to play.
I played with my brother for a year. I think the one thing was we played hitting hockey, so in like Pee Wee. It was hitting hockey, and I felt like there was obviously a size disadvantage. Like some boys were really big, and I was like a little bit on the smaller side. So kind of taught me how to play my body and accept hits and give hits at a young age, which was really nice that I'm kind of thankful for. Um, it was definitely a challenge. Like I got cut from a few boys teams, and I feel like that kind of like shaped me to like want to make those teams and drive me year after year to like do better and better because I think that really challenged me.
I couldn't agree more. You're in what you got to say. And again, I appreciate you being as truthful as possible here. It's been great talking to you so far. Just kind of curious to know when UBC first came onto your radar.
Um, Back in grade 11, I first started talking to UBC. At that time, I was playing at the U18 Nationals in Quebec, and Graham, so the current UBC coach, was the Team BC coach at the time. So I kind of just got familiar with him there. Didn't think much of it. I started my recruiting process a little late, just because I didn't play prep hockey or academy hockey until grade 11. So I didn't have as much exposure, but I started talking to them late grade 11 and came out to the university to come tour it, which I'm a BC girl, but I've never seen UBC because it's kind of just off to the side of Vancouver. You never really get to like drive through it or anything. And obviously just like fell in love with it, thought it was a great fit for me, and the rest is kind of history.
What made it the right fit for you?
I think a huge thing when I was committing was academics. A lot of girls, especially on the team here, like we didn't have a PWHL even like 6 years ago. So academics is a huge part, just kind of setting us ourselves up for our future, regardless of what happens with hockey or not, was huge. So I think that was a huge driving force, UBC just being like a super good school academically. Um, I love the facilities here. So we got so many resources. We got three rinks, we got shooting area, we've got a pretty nice facility, a gym, kind of all in one area, and then obviously just like a lot of resources with our training staff and support. And I think just the city itself is just beautiful. So kind of speaks for itself if you have been to Vancouver. Nobody really says too many bad things about it for sure. And being close to the water, and obviously being close to home. Like I'm only a 4 hour drive from it's only a 4 hour drive for my parents to get back and forth, which is pretty good.
It's pretty good. I know I asked you this already, but maybe talk about it a little bit more, just how excited you are that you don't have to pack your bags to go to another city.
Yeah, obviously I'm pretty thankful. I think still at the end of the day, I'm trying to make the team and trying to see what I can do for the team, and whatever that role is, I will do it for whatever the team wants. So we'll see what happens coming up here.
You spent a number of years at UBC. Obviously, the player that you started with and the player that you ended as were two different players. Just talk to me about your progress as a player throughout your time at UBC.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously came here super young, like I was 17, and in youth sports you get 5 years. So I had 5 years and then got an additional year with the COVID year, which we didn't play my whole second year. So I kind of got blessed with being here for 6 years, which is a long time compared to athlete in the NCAA. But yeah, I definitely grew so much. Coming in, I was just so young and a little naive. You don't know how things work. You're just like you're just in a new environment. You're playing with older players. Like some girls were like 23, 24. You're just trying to like absorb everything you can in terms of how they act on the day-to-day basis, how they do things, and like it's just like maturing and being an adult, which is like the biggest thing that takes time and that you just learn year after year. And I think for sure that is something I grew in. And I think just like being able to have kind of a life outside of hockey and finding what I enjoy outside of that was huge for me too, which I think kind of allowed me to grow as a person.
Was there a coach or a player during your time at UBC that had a major impact on you?
Well, yeah. I think for sure our coaches, they're huge. They do a lot for us. I think for a player, I would say Rylan McKinnon. She's kind of been obviously the first UBC player to go to the PWHL last year, so just kind of following her steps. We've been training together this summer. I've been asking her a lot of questions, kind of just she's been a great teammate just to look up to. She was a great leader here, a great captain here, and she kind of just does all the right things. So I just try to pick up what I can on her off of her game and try to instill it in mine.
You won a lot during your time at UBC, so this next one's going to be a little tough, but favorite memory on the ice? Do you have one?
Wow. Probably the 3P Canada West. Obviously we never won nationals, but that was pretty special. Um, to do it 3 years in a row, I don't think it had been done before, and it's pretty hard just with how many teams are in our league, how competitive if it is every year, and how much of a grind it is towards the end. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, 116 career Canada West regular season points. That's just absolutely incredible. I want to say that again because that's crazy. 116 career Canada West regular season points. That's ridiculous. Um, it's high up there in the program. How does it feel to be recognized as not just a leader, but somebody that can put up points and somebody that gets recognized for their hard work?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a testament to like my teammates. We definitely have a great program here at UBC. I get to be surrounded by great players and get to play with great players, so it makes it a little easier having that kind of support. So obviously it's not just me, it's a team effort. So that's kind of what I give my credits to.
And then I just want to ask you another one about being a Thunderbird. What does it mean to you knowing that you are the first ever Thunderbird drafted into the PWHL?
Yeah, obviously super honored. The league is pretty new and we've had some great Thunderbird players over the past however many years, 20 years. So I'm definitely super grateful and I'm kind of excited for the future and to see future players kind of get drafted or step into those types of roles because this program is growing so much at UBC, which is so great to see.
I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with Graham Thomas, the head coach from UBC. And one of the things he said was, it's great being a coach. There's a lot of positives that come with it, obviously, a lot of negatives too. But one of his favorite parts about being a coach is just seeing the way that his players progress. And he said he gets the seniors to do speeches when they're all done and wrapped up. So, what was that experience like for you? Were you kind of nervous having to give a speech like that?
Yeah, honestly, not nervous because obviously I'm just speaking to my team and my coaches, so it's fine, but I kind of had a long one, just summarizing 6 years, but yeah, for sure. I think it was like definitely emotional. Kind of putting it all together to end off 6 years is it's a lot because I've spent so much time here and I've had so many memories and to kind of wrap up that chapter, it's like it doesn't feel real because I feel like I'm gonna be back here next year for some reason, but I can't be. So um yeah, for sure. I have a lot of good memories here and I'm so happy I got to spend my time at UBC.
Is there a certain part of your game that you're really excited to showcase in the PWHL?
Yeah, for sure. I think especially in high school, I played more of a role of a gritty player. I love to have pucks and score goals kind of near the crease area. And I think as I got to UBC, I kind of developed more on my kind of skill game, my hockey IQ, and being able to find lanes. So I'm super excited to kind of show that part of my game and put it together because I obviously had a little more opportunity at UBC to kind of showcase my skill game, but I obviously think I can provide in both ways.
Before we went on air, we kind of talked about this a little bit in terms of you knowing players already on this Vancouver team. Is there anybody in particular that you're excited to play with?
Yeah, for sure. Like I know Jen Gardner and Nina Jobsmith, so we played together back in 2019 at Canada Winter Games, which was awesome and we're all pretty close. Um and obviously there's like some pretty cool Olympians up on there that I would just be honored to even be on the ice with. So honestly pretty pumped to kind of get out there and get all that started and see how they do things on a day-to-day basis and kind of pick up on those things and kind of put that in my game as well.
What's the vibe around this franchise as it gets started?
Wow, yeah, there's a huge buzz just still being in Vancouver. I know when the team got announced a few months ago, there's people just coming up and they're saying, "Oh, there's a PWHL Vancouver team." People that like kind of didn't really pay attention to hockey in the past. So it's very exciting, and I think Vancouver is such a hockey city. It's unreal to see, and I know these fans are gonna pack the rink every single night and show up. So it's super exciting, and I love the city, and it's gonna buzz for sure when the season gets started.
We know what the colors are going to be. Do you have an idea what the name's going to be? And if you don't, you have an idea of one that you might want to propose to the organization and to the league?
I honestly have no idea. I haven't even thought about that. Uh, I'm sure it'll be good, whatever ha comes out.
Chanreet, thanks so much for doing this. I got one more for you. What message do you have for young players, especially young girls, watching your journey and dreaming big?
Honestly, it's pretty cliche, but just like work hard. Um, Definitely just like put in the time, whether you're shooting pucks in your backyard or just stick handling in your driveway, you got to put in the time every single day to be consistent and produce. And I think that's huge because it builds those life skills that you need. Even if hockey doesn't work out, you have those life skills to kind of drive you through your career, whether that be hockey or not. So I think that's the biggest thing. Just kind of work hard and trust yourself, trust your game, trust that you can do it because confidence is huge as well. So yeah, that's kind of my advice.
Chanreet Bassi, a UBC Thunderbirds women's hockey legend. And I threw that word out there and I don't take it back. You're a legend from UBC. And of course, being the first ever UBC player to be drafted, it's something you're never going to forget, something that the organization won't forget either. Thank you so very much for doing this. I really do appreciate it. Looking forward to watching you in Vancouver. Cannot wait to see more. Thanks again.
Thank you.
There you go. That's Chanreet Bassi. I'm John Carl Nadeau. Thanks so much for joining us on Breakaway Coverage. We are out with a brand new episode each and every week. We'll tune into one next Friday.